Night surges wrapped in its cape of dust. The dust slowly rises, and out of an impenetrable sky, growing closer, denser, ashes rain. When smoky dust, ashen night, wraps around the city, men hold back, suspended for a moment, for at night, born within them is desire.
Thank you, and that might be the quote that many of us do not know.
Oh, I didn't know if I closed that. I just.
Thank you.
Name of that poem again?
When Evening, and it's from a group of poems called Nostalgia for Death.
And the poet is?
Javier Villarrutia.
Mary Calora.
Hi everyone, I'm Mary Calora. I just want to move this closer. Is that good? Can you hear me like that? Okay, I also grew up in the Albert Weisner Public Library, and I was a student. New glasses. I was also Mary's student in her poetry class at Hawk. This is one
wonderful student.
This is one of my favorite poems by E. Cummings. It's a great love poem. My interpretation of this poem is not so much about romantic love, but a loss of love. This poem has helped me really process feelings of grief, which I've had for a while, but it helps to think of carrying hearts around. So this is I Carry Your Heart by E. Cummings. I'm like new to reading glasses, so bear with me. I carry your heart with me. I carry it in my heart. I am never without it. Anywhere I go, you go, my dear. And whatever is done by only me is your doing, my darling. I fear no fate, for you are my fate, my sweet. I want no world, for beautiful you are my world, my true. And it's you are whatever a moon has always meant, and whatever a sun will always sing is you. Here is the deepest secret nobody knows. Here is the root of the root and the bud of the bud and the sky of a tree called life, which grows higher than soul can hope or mind can hide. And this is the wonder that's keeping the stars apart. I carry your heart, I carry it in my heart. Oh. Thank you.
And let's see. Laurie Byro.
Did you want this one?
So glad I didn't follow your slides.
Oh, gosh. No, Diane.
Larry is in my poetry group, and I've been doing it for the group itself for 28 years. I was in library land and worked there for 15 years. And Robert Hass, when I met him, and I said people were calling me Laureate because of my name, and he was the poet laureate. It was embarrassing. He said his friends called him the poet laureate. Laundromat said that the best thing you can do for your own writing is to discuss other people's work that know what they're doing. So that's why we've been doing it for 28 years. And when I first started writing, I thought that Walt Whitman was a chain of schools throughout the United. I didn't know anything. Okay, I'm telling on myself. And also because you said about Irish and everyone having things. We were in Europe twice, and the second time, when my husband kept saying, "There's Interpol," I finally said, after about 5 times, he said, "There's Interpol. Why are they picking on the Polish people?" I'm Polish. And he said, "No, it's the police." All right. So this was by Andrew Motion, who at the time was the poet laureate of Britain. It was written in the 80s. Caused the Belly, and it's just 30 words. And he got in trouble for this as poet laureate because it was an occasional poem. They read good books and quote, but never learn a language other than the scream of rocket burn. Our straighter talk is drowned but ironclad. Elections, money, empire, oil, and dad. And I thought it was appropriate for what's going on now. And this was a woman who wrote this, I'd say, in the 80s. And she was the Chancellor of Academy of American Poets pretty recently, Heather McHugh. And since we were in Europe for a month, this resonated with me. We were supposed to do a job in Italy, and full of our feeling for ourselves, our sense of being poets from America. We went from Rome to Fano, met the mayor, mulled a couple batters over. The Italian literati seemed bewildered by the language of America. They asked, what does flat drink mean? And mysterious cheap date. No explanation lessened this one's mystery. Among Italian writers, we could recognize our counterparts, the academic, the apologist, the arrogant, the amorous, the brazen, and the glib. But there was one administrator, conservative, in suit of regulation gray, who, like a good tour guide, with measured pace and uninflected tone, narrated sights and histories. The hired van hauled us past. Of all, he was the most politic, but least poetic, so it seemed. Our last few days in Rome, I found a book of poems this unprepossessing one had written. It was there in the pension room, a room he'd recommended, where it must have been abandoned by the Germans, the visitors that had been a bus of them, to whom he had inscribed and dated a month before. I couldn't read Italian either, so I put the book back, and the wardrobe's dark. We last Americans were due to leave tomorrow. For our parting evening, our host chose something in a family restaurant, and there we sat and chatted, sat and chewed, till sensible it was our last big chance to be poetic, make our mark. One of us asked, what's poetry? Is it the fruits and vegetables marketplace of Campo di Fiore, or the statue there? Because I was the glib one, I identified the answer instantly. I didn't have to think. The truth is both, it's both, I blurted out. But that was easy. That was easiest to say. What followed taught me something. For our underesteemed host spoke out all of a sudden with a rising passion, and he said, the statue represents Giordano Bruno, burned in the public square because of his offense against authority, which was to say the church. His crime was his belief the universe does not revolve around the human being. God is no fixed point or central government, but rather is poured in waves through all things. All things move. If God is not the soul itself, he is the soul of the world. Such was his heresy. The day they brought him forth to die, they feared he might incite the crowd. The man was famous for his eloquence, and so his captors placed upon his face an iron mask in which he could not speak. That is how they burned him. That is how he died, without a word in front of everyone. And poetry, we'd all put down our forks by now to listen to the man in gray. He went on softly. Poetry is what he thought, but did not say. Next.
Daniel Grant.
I know where wells grow, dropless wells, deep dug for summer days where waters go no more away. It's made of fathoms and a belt of jagged stone, inlaid with emerald halfway down and diamonds jumbled on. It has no bucket. Were I rich, a bucket I would buy. I'm often thirsty, but my lips are so high up, you see. I've read in an old-fashioned book